Hi, Lisa. This is the best way, I think, to communicate with you because I know you have your challenges and I know our schedules are just kind of crazy. And I don't know if you saw, and I didn't really post it. My producers requested that I not post anything about my health. I was in the hospital again. This time they did the reversal of the ileostomy, so I no longer have to walk around with a bag attached to my abdominal area. Thank God. And I just, my heart goes out to those people that have to live with it the rest of their lives, because my dad was one of them. Anyway, so I thought I'd do a video since this would make it easier for you. And I've been thinking about, that this is so, what we had set up is kind of really out of the realm of what the Cultural Alliance could handle. And I restructured it based on new strategies that we're doing with the film, which is now finally making great progress, which I'll tell you in a minute. First and foremost, private funding is on a serious level is not happening right now, thanks to the current administration causing havoc in the world. So what we did was I registered Global Media as a British company, and which makes me eligible for film financing in the UK, as long as I have a UK producing partner who has experience handling those kind of budgets. So we're in the process of that. The other thing that we're doing is that we're getting letters of intent from our star actors to take to sales, and sales does an advanced sale of the film before it even starts shooting. So basically they're getting X amount of dollars from Asian markets, X amount of dollars from the European markets, France, Italy, Spain, all those separate countries have financing of like, yes, we'll take that in and we'll give you this much money to guarantee that we get to have the premiere of that film. So there's sort of this pre-selling it. So what that does is that brings us in money. We're also doing a thing where we're going to sell our tax incentive. Just from the UK and Italy alone, we'll be getting money back on the film of about 852,000 euros. Or pounds rather, pounds. So that means that we can say to a private investor, or a person who wants to make a little more secure money, no matter how bad the film does, okay, so we'll sell you the tax return for X amount of dollars. So in our case, we'll sell it for 750,000, and they'll make a profit of 100,000 off of that sale. And that's guaranteed because that's what they're getting, no matter how bad the film does, or good it does, because that's what the government's guaranteed back for shooting the film in their country. So, and that's not even counting the American part, because in America, the only tax incentive program that's set up in New York State is post-production. So that'll be a help. Anyway, so long story short is that we've restructured everything. The other important thing is that the pitch deck that you have, we cannot use anymore the way it is, because Mark Kaplan left Goldcrest, and they were not happy about it because he's great. And for him to break free of that and say, hey, I want to work on your film and I'll be your post-production producer, is sort of a huge deal, which is great for us. But as a result, we can't use Goldcrest. And I'm fine with that because they're not the only game in town. And Mark knows his people. And I'd rather have the right post-production producer and go with a different company who can do the same thing. Anyway, so we have to take that down. I have a new one for you when you're ready, and we can talk about it. So what I've done is I've done a new list of things that need to be funded that are much more within the wheelhouse of the Cultural Alliance. And I'm sending that to you because I looked at all these bank sites that have grants, and they're only once a year. We missed the mark. I was sick during that whole period of time that I could do anything. So I was not in any place to work on it. So here we are. So I'm sending you this list, and I'm going to say it to you. I'm going to speak it now so that you can think it over in your mind. And it's basically a revised approach, focuses on a targeted development to raise support for the final packaging and position the project for sales company engagement and financing. So basically, It's what we're looking for are small things that have to be taken care of in advance, and I'll explain them as we go. First, the arts rights. The Lempica estate still wants to give us those rights, so we need to raise $3,000 for that. And so with your 5%, that would make it $3,150. We need to develop the schedule for the film, and that has to be done executed by an authorized assistant director, which she basically looks through the film and creates the schedule, and then that goes to the actors agency to say, okay, this is when you need my client, this is how much you want to pay, and go according to that, and then they're happy, and then that's great, and then they sign their contract. Well, they do. Well, I'll explain in a minute. Then we have to do the budget creation, and that has to be done by an authorized line producer who we have, but we have to pay her, and that amounts to in American dollars, $4,248. What I've done on this sheet is I've given you the British number and the current American number and translation of that. Then the next thing we have to do is engage an official casting director. Even though we're getting our star actors, we still have to cast the whole thing, and we have to use a casting director for that. And that's $13,925. The next thing we need is our branding partnerships. And this is very important because they're actually going to go out and raise us the money that we don't have to pay back in any form for product placement and endorsements and things. And that will be $22,655. And then legal and business affairs, we need to have contracts and agreements done with not just the actors, but with these branding companies. And that will be about $10,619. And then we have production administration costs of registration, filings, websites, and things like that. And that comes to about $8,250. So I've got this all on the list for you. And this is something that you can revamp the page with. And we've revamped the website. And if you can get your people on that, that would be so great. And, that would make this seem like a more engaged partnership. And that will also look good for us for the UK, because they'll see that this Cultural Alliance is active and working with us. So in more than just name. So if we can do a phone call, if you want to do a meeting with your board, with the team that is on it, I would love to explain how this can really make a difference still, and it's far less of an ask, and still will have the same great impact, and how it will move things forward. So what we're doing right now, so you can get an idea, is that we're reaching the 4 top stars. I've done a major rewrite on the script. I wouldn't say major, but a strong rewrite where I've included the 2 more characters. And we've gotten the great Andrea Marcovici, who's co-starred with Woody Allen in The Front, and with Danny DeVito in Jack and the Bear, and she played Magnum P.I.'s girlfriend. She's an incredible singer-actress. She's retired from singing, and she's just doing acting now. And she used to be the headliner at the Algonquin Oak Room, and that's how I got to know her. I was her tech director. She's followed by huge people like Joni Mitchell. They all love her work. So she's already signed her letter of intent. Next, we're going for Chow Yun-fat from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And we've already engaged with Kristen's new agent, which is part of the reason why we're doing this. Kristen left that agency, and my guess is that she was not happy with them as much as we were not happy with them. And so as a result, she's with a whole new agency, and they're much better. They're much more accessible. And so we're in discussion with them now. So there you have it, in under 10 minutes. Longer than I wanted, but I think this is important. Okay, take care. Speak to you soon.